Hello, I'm Jordan and welcome back to The Hidden Cup. Today's video is a bit of an update. I mentioned in a previous video last week that I was planning on reconnecting with one of my favorite plant teachers from my college days. Well, I did so last weekend and it was a overwhelmingly positive experience. In fact, I was pleasantly surprised, given how long it has been since I interacted with this particular plant, that I did not have any more difficulties with the adjustment or the transition. So a little bit of a recap. I have been struggling with some spiritual blockage, mostly from years of cutting myself off from that part of myself and allowing my engagement with the mystical side of the world to atrophy. So for the past year, I've been on a journey trying to reconnect with my higher self and have found a bit of a blockage internally that's preventing me from getting back to the level of integration and flow that I want to achieve in my life right now based on the goals I have for myself. And based on a number of tarot readings and other incidences, primarily the tarot though, I came to the conclusion that I needed to go through a period of cleansing. And one of the ways to facilitate that is interacting with certain plants that have a way of clearing the mind and sweeping out the cobwebs, so to speak, opening the spirit up to higher states of consciousness and allowing us to understand and conceptualize things in ways that we are not able to in ordinary modes of consciousness. So on Monday, I had a day off from work, and I went ahead and decided to embark on this journey. And I decided to make a point of involving the tarot in the process this time, which is something I haven't really done before. I was a little bit nervous at the outset of the experience, so I did a card pull asking if I should indeed go ahead with it. And I received the Eight of Wands in the Heindel deck, which is about as enthusiastic of a yes as possible. It means go, and go now, essentially. So it's a card of action. So I went ahead and I took the plunge. And there's always a little bit of a transition as you're easing into those states of mind. The natural impulse is to resist. The ego struggles against dissolution, and once it feels that awareness that it's going to begin losing control, it panics and it tries to fight and hold on. And the reason so many people have difficult experiences, we'll say, is because of that the ego fighting. So what you need to do when you feel the anxiety begin to rise and you feel that sense of resistance within yourself, instead of holding on and allowing yourself to fight back against whatever's happening, which is the natural impulse, instead you relax. You ease into it, you stop resisting, and you allow those little waves of intensity to just wash over you like the tide, eroding more and more of the part of you that's resisting until eventually there's no resistance left. And I was pleasantly surprised that I was able to do this despite the fact that it has been such a long time since I've had a proper experience. So I spent the first hour, maybe hour and a half, laying in my papasan chair, intermittently closing my eyes and just focusing on the feelings, focusing on what was happening in my mind, and allowing that transformation to unfold. One thing that I realized very quickly, though, was that I was still very tired. And this is a process that is often a little bit exhausting, so that's not unusual, especially since it activates mental processes that are somewhat akin to dream states. I have found that I often like to sort of take a conscious nap for the first hour or so while I just let my mind wander, lay down, relax, and that's sort of what I did in the chair. But I realized that unlike my previous experiences, my energy levels were very low. I don't have the kind of reserves that you need to go through that kind of powerful, transformative experience properly. And I think it's a matter of both physical and spiritual energy. I'm still not getting adequate rest. I still have not fully adjusted my lifestyle to accommodate the way I want to be now going forward. And also, the path I walk and minimal magical integration I've still managed to achieve in my life has not yet facilitated the amount of spiritual power reserves that are particularly useful in this type of situation. So the experience was a little bit incomplete, we'll say, but nonetheless I did open the door in a way that I have not done so for a long time. So after that first initial hour and a half where you're adjusting to the transition, things settled a little bit, and although I was still tired, I had reached a point in the experience where I felt like I could engage with it a little bit differently. And I've mentioned before that I have a necklace that's very kind of a sacred item to me, and I had made that necklace during a previous experience with this particular plant teacher. And lo and behold, after many years of faithful service, the day before this planned experience, that necklace broke. So I took that as a sign that it was time to reconstruct it, and again, with the help of that plant teacher. So about an hour and a half, 2 hours into the experience, I went upstairs. I got a few things out of my altar. I set up my tarot cloth and one of my favorite statues, a few other crystals around. I got out my old necklace and some new materials. And then I did a tarot reading for the creation of this necklace. And it ended up being a very powerful reading, and I used the Heindel deck, as I like to do. And the central card that I ended up crafting my necklace directly over incorporated the I Ching hexagram that basically embodies yin energy and receptivity. And the other cards of the spread, there was the Magician, and I cannot remember offhand, although I did write it down. So the spread was basically a sense of energy and magic being channeled into a receptive vessel. And for what I was doing, that was perfect, because I feel like it allowed me to transform the necklace from just a totem to an actual full-blown talisman. And so during that 2 or 3 hour process of me methodically braiding that necklace, focusing on both the experience I was going through as well as the cards and the energy around me, welcoming the energy of the universe into the necklace as I created it, and then eventually kind of sealing it with a bit of a ritual after I finished construction. So now I have a new necklace, one that I feel like is a bit more spiritually focused than the previous one, and one that actually incorporates the energy of my tarot practice as well as the plant teacher that I'm so fond of. And you notice my ambiguity. I'm honestly not sure what I am able to mention in a YouTube video, so you can probably make your own guesses based on how I describe the process and my personality, what I'd be referring to. You'd probably be right. So it ended up being a very powerful experience, even though it was more of a opening of the door than a full plunge into the unknown, into the energy of life. But it was an essential first step. And I do feel like I've began the work of clearing that blockage, and I can actually feel the blockage now in a way that I couldn't before. Previously I was aware of it just because of limitations I felt in my practice, and specifically when I would meditate and focus on it, I was able to visualize that in a very clear way. But I still have work to do. So I did a follow-up tarot reading yesterday or the day before, where I did just an audit of the experience and what it was like. And the spread was Modesty bracketed by 2 different cards that had a I Ching hexagram for symbolizing disappointment, lack of completion, etc. And the sense I got from that was that it was a modest experience that did not fully clear the blockage. There might also have been a slight dosage issue. Perhaps I approached this teacher with too much modesty and should have been a bit more bold. But I decided the next question then is, should I do this again? Was this a trial run to set the stage for the true experience that is to come later? So I've mentioned in my previous video leading up to this that my spreads for a while have been hinting at the Hanged Man without actually showing him. indicating that I'm preparing to go through a spiritual transition, that I do need to take the plunge and fully embrace the magical lifestyle. But the lack of the actual appearance of the Hanged Man card did sort of raise some questions for me. I was wondering why he was being hinted at instead of actually featured. Well, I do my single card pull asking, do I need to repeat this experience again soon? Hanged Man. And that is about as clear of an answer as I could have gotten on that. Very, very straightforward, yes. And in fact, it's time to take the plunge. So I do intend to revisit this teacher again in the near future, perhaps with a slightly higher dosage so that I can more thoroughly facilitate the obliteration of my ego so that my spiritual center can blossom and the light can shine again. I'm not sure how long it's going to be before I take the plunge. It may be this weekend, it may be the next, but it is something I do intend to do very soon. The initial experience was a very positive one, and I feel like I have started work that I need to finish ideally as soon as possible because it's going to be a very positive thing for me. And it was wonderful being reminded how friendly and kind this teacher is, and how easy it is to relax into and allow my mind to open up through the process. So a lot of my concerns have been addressed, and I feel like I can more confidently embrace the experience when I revisit again in the near future. And when I do so, I will certainly let you know how it goes, because I feel like this next one has a good chance of finally shifting something. I felt it begin to come loose, and I can tell that the layers of hardness have begun to dissolve. The shell is thinner, but the shell is still there. And it's time to break it. I really, really do want to embrace my inner light again. I want to exist in a state of synchronicity with the world around me. And I want to be able to share that light and that love I have with other people in the most effective way possible. And that's why I'm on this journey. It's not just so I can feel good about myself. It's not just so I can, reconnect with the idea of Jordan that I really want to live, although that's certainly possible. Although that's certainly part of it. I am doing this for myself to a degree. But I'm also doing this because I love life. I love the human race. I love the world. And I want to actually contribute something positive to them. I don't want to just coast. I don't want to just take in all of the entertainment that's available. I want to leave behind something positive. I want to make a contribution. I want to help other people perhaps understand some of the beauty and the radiance and luminosity that I have found in the world myself, because interacting with it has been such a transformative experience for me. It makes me happier, it makes me more productive, and it makes me feel a greater state of harmony with the world around me. And I think that's something that is a positive for anyone, or at least almost anyone. And if I can share a little bit of light just by talking about my own journey, I'm happy for that opportunity. And perhaps as I progress further along, I will find more things that I can offer that will be of even greater value to people. So thank you for accompanying me and for watching these videos. And if any other information, any suggestions you have, I'm always happy to hear from anybody. I'm still learning, and I have a lot to learn. So I always welcome any comments of any wisdom you have, any questions you have. We can learn and grow together. And thank you for watching this video. I'll post more as soon as I have more to share. Thank you.